All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game between Yumiko and ShockeR or Shocky, depending on how you want to say his name. Yumiko spawning as the orange human player on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, ShockeR spawning as the red undead. I'm going to be casting. Well, it's that time of year where kids get sick. So unfortunately, I've been out of commission. Well, yesterday, um, I was resting up. I had a very long nap, and pretty much went to bed at 8, and then woke up the next morning at 7. It was glorious, but at the same time, yeah, I was feeling sick, so I didn't think I could sleep that much that long, um, for a while, especially with all the responsibilities that seem to creep up on you. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down here. We're going to opening things up here for Yumiko, Altar of Kings Barracks Farm. We are looking at Hero of an Archmage, and he will be going up against, wait for it, a Death Knight. Death Knight going up against an Archmage in this 1v1 matchup. Ghoul is also going to get trained up out here in just a moment. Tomb of Relics, and this game will get going. Now, I do plan on casting another game, but a little bit later today. Probably not live stream. Still got some things to do and take care for the kids. So, well, keep an eagle-eyed lookout for additional games that may pop on up. Anyways, Archmage Footman about to pop on out here. I forgot to speed to the 2-minute mark, telling a little bit of a life story for you guys out there as the Footman, well, quickly darts off across the field. Archmage already on the battlefield here, gonna go ahead and militia clear out of this creep camp. Real life stuff, heaven forbid, yeah. Uh, so much goes on during the day, and so much goes on through life that you just kind of forget that all. It's easy to forget that everything you see on the internet is generally the highlight and low light reel of everyone's life. It's everyone's best moments, or everyone's worst moments, and that seems to be what we naturally gravitate to, for better or worse, as humans and their curiosity. We want to see when people really succeed or when people really fail. It's just entertaining. And well, life is everything that happens in between, taking care of kids and all that stuff there. Sasquatch, well, taking a little bit of damage. Now going to go ahead and try and aggro back, finally engaging here. So good use of abusing the AI by Yumiko to minimize damage on his army. Meanwhile, down to the south side here, Shocky now clearing out of this expansion creep camp at the 6 o'clock spot, on springtime. And it looks like he may be trying to set up an expo, and it seems to be the same thing for Yumiko. Yumiko also going to be setting up an expo off to the north here, and Undead with an expo, human with an expo during this particular matchup here. No quick tech to tier 2. Nope, I take it back. There is still a tech to tier 2. It is just an aggressive attempt at trying to establish the beginnings of an expansion before haunting that gold mine, taking care of Sasquatch. Yeah. Let me know how you guys like the new lighting, and what happened to my other light. I could have sworn of course, my kids move it. Alright, so let me know what you guys think of the lighting and all of those things there. It feels like this particular light is, I don't know. Not that I'm trying to make any makeup um, makeup coloring. I don't know. How does the light look? Am I properly lit? Can you see me? When I turned off my camera for a while, people were like, we want to see your expressions and your reactions to all these things. So I'm like, well, if that's the case, then maybe I should have proper lighting so you can see my face better. Not that there's very much to look at, or it's not that physically appealing. Anyways, coming back through, Archmage going to go ahead and clear out the Timberwolf creep camp. Militia called over, only to be called back as the Death Knight now heads off to the north here. Opens up with a Death Coil very quickly, but doesn't get the kill on the Peasant. Alright, well, If the Death Knight doesn't get the job done, those skeletal minions will, and the skeletal minion does get the final shot off onto that peasant there. Meanwhile, Death Knight gonna try to go for another Death Coil, finds another peasant there, trying to bring up more Rod of Necromancy units, but with no more mana, the Death Knight, well, opportunities are gonna start to fall a bit flat. Right, left on cam, side of your face is slightly darker, but altogether light seems fine. Alright, here. Do I need to lighten or brighten up this side? I think so. Alright. It's also the type of light that I can get on that side too.
A town is under siege.
Unfortunately, I do not have a room that I can strictly dedicate to properly stream. Well, this room is just the everything everywhere all at once room. It's also my wife's office now when she works at home, so this is the office, but I can't set up the computer right in the middle of the room so I can have a ring light and all the cameras and a green screen behind me, although that would look nice. Coming back around, Archmage going to try to go after this slaughterhouse, shut it down before anything can really start to get trained. Lich is already out here on the battlefield, and the game is taking it to the next level now. A lot of speed, a lot of action happening across here. ShockeR not caring that he's getting arcane feedback, just attacking this expo the old-fashioned way with, with claws, swords, and that rune blade there, trying to take things down. Scroll of Town Portal coming back around the other side. Water Elemental may give a easy EXP to the Death Knight as both sides are still fighting around. Alright, a little bit of a traffic jam here. All of the ghouls actually getting in front of the Death Knight, making it difficult to try and retreat back as ShockeR now finally falls back here. Archmage was forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal to try and save his expo, and now we're looking at 2 extra guard towers perhaps being built, and we'll even be looking at some masonry upgrade. Down to the south side here, we see that there is currently no expo, just the beginnings, a Nerubian tower for when the expo does become ready. Arcane Vault also needs to be added in, as well as the Lich, while trying to pick off some of those units. Without the guard towers here, those ghouls are just going to be able to slice and dice through those peasants pretty easily as the Archmage tries to offer a little bit of protection. More and more units are just falling on both sides. Yumiko seeing that 41 supply compared to ShockeR's 30 over 50. Peasants are getting taken down pretty consistently. And Lich now pretty much out of mana, trying to finish off the scout towers before the scout towers can get constructed, as skeletal minions still causing a little bit of problems. Low hit point ghoul still pretty much stuck in the back right there, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. We can see another footman getting taken down as the Lich is getting closer and closer to level 2. All right, ghoul gets surrounded there on the other side here. Archmage is now oddly still fairly full on hit points, and this is a little bit of a change. Undead early on normally has to focus on enemy heroes to try and get them to disengage from a fight. This fight here seemed like a complete reversal. ShockeR or Shocky actually focusing on the units, able to pick down peasants and footmen, take them down, and now perhaps get even more experience again while buying time for tech. That may have been the big overall plan. Buy time for tech, and now that the first Obsidian statue is out, the Lich and the Death Knight can come across, work together, and by working together now, buy a bit of time. All right, Death Knight. All right, Archmage is coming across here. There's a Water Elemental. There's level 2 now on that Lich. Item is going to get picked up. Replenishment Potion could quickly be used by the Death Knight here. We're looking at some dark rituals. And with the Obsidian statue walking alongside with them, it is pretty much... Oh, Replenishment Potion coming to an end. All right, and if you notice there for a split second, you saw Essence of Blight and Essence of Mana toggled over each other by ShockeR. And that is possible if you are manually controlling that Obsidian statue, toggling both and trying to get the most out of that Obsidian statue until your second one comes out onto the battlefield as well. There's a big Death Coil onto the Lich. Lich is staying alive ever so barely though, and it does not look good for him as the Lich is now trying to back away down to 28 hit points. There's a second Death Coil, and beautiful clutch saves. More dark rituals coming across here. Obsidian statue trying to get in some more heals, as well as the mounting, or as we see some more focus fire. Plenty of skeletal minions out on the battlefield from dual rods of necromancy on the Lich and onto the Death Knight, as well, ShockeR is just taking this time to continue to clear out creep camps, knowing that Yumiko really doesn't have. Oh, did he get that experience? He might have it, but the item does belong to the mounting or the Death Knight. All right, Destroyer now out here on the battlefield, gonna go ahead and devour some magic. Low hit point unit, Dark Ranger, gonna get finished off. There's a Black Arrow, level 4 now on the Death Knight, as this game has taken a higher gear suddenly. All right, both sides still fighting as the creep camps are getting cleared out. Dark Ranger, with all of those skeletal, lesser dark minions just cranking out those units and fighting next to the tavern could be hazardous to your health, as you don't know who could suddenly just be coming out from that fight. Destroyer finishing off that guard or that water elemental there. Destroyer now being forced to back up here. Death Coil most likely inbound for that Destroyer here to try and stay alive. And where is another Obsidian statue? It still hasn't joined just quite yet. Meanwhile, down on the south side here, 2 acolytes waiting to perhaps set up this haunted gold mine, as we're looking at the laboratory getting cleared out pretty easily. Level 2 already on the Dark Ranger, level 3 on the Lich just around the corner. I'm not 100% sure if this will give enough experience, as there are 3 heroes to split the experience across. All right. Army size of ShockeR is still fairly small. All of those lesser dark minions have been pretty much destroyed. Rod of Necromancy gonna, however, train up some more units as flying machines joining in on the fight as well. Down to 353 hit points. They're gonna be forced to retreat back. A new Obsidian statue here as the units fall back again. Now, Obsidian statue perhaps wants to give Essence of Blight to all of these units here. Essence of Mana is a little bit dangerous, as it's going to drain mana onto that Obsidian statue, while the Destroyer is also negatively losing mana. So the Obsidian statue could actually run out of mana extremely fast, as the Destroyer should be trying to devour all of that inner fire and regenerate hit points and deal damage again. There's a second Obsidian statue here, but the hero race is already a big lead for ShockeR, sitting at level 4, level 3, level 2, going against Yumiko's level 4, level 1, level 1. All right. Undead taking a bit of the hero experience lead with 4-3-2 heroes. Dark Ranger could be getting to level 3. Meanwhile, Yumiko is getting up those knights as well, has those flying machines, and has the economic advantage. All right, with those, perhaps with the Sundering Blades on those knights, and perhaps being able to clear out some of these creep camps before ShockeR gets all of them, he could make sure to neutralize that hero level advantage. We've seen that happen recently now, as human players are transitioning away from casters for a long time, finding a good stride with knights and flying machines. There's a necropolis already down here. I believe the haunted gold mine was never really established. Knights are going to try and go ahead and charge on in, as we are going into the animal war training off of a single barracks. All right, timing's going to be key here. Fly machine coming around. We are also looking at some spell breakers as well, as a Scroll of Town portal inbound to try and save that low hit point knight. There's a Holy Light to try and save. There is also Staff of Sanctuary to save some of these units, as a Nerubian tower, well, is hitting them on the way out, so to speak. The door hitting them on the way out type of thing, as the water elemental, well, easily gets cleaned up there. Dual level 3 heroes for the Lich and that Dark Ranger, now level 4 on that Death Knight, halfway to level 5, and ShockeR is just continually finding creeps on the map to clear out. This is giving him a stronger and stronger hero level advantage. Meanwhile, Yumiko seems to be running around the map a little bit more, not efficiently using his time, but in the same breath, he has this expo, he has more economy going for him, and he has a larger army. Still difficult to tell who's gonna win out in that next fight, as we're getting flak cannons and more flying machines to try and deal with those destroyers. All right, turning back around, gonna go ahead and fight. We could be looking at Staff of Sanctuary. There's a Death Coil saving that destroyer there, as the flying machines are trying to shoot it down to that destroyer. So many flying machines that the Crypt Fiends can't do much with it. There goes one Crypt Fiend, but that was Dark Ritual, denying a little bit of that experience. All right, Death Coil on to the Paladin. Staff of Sanctuary back home at 30 34 hit points, able to get saved as we're still fighting our way through. Knights are going to be having a little bit of a difficult time. Perhaps going after the obsidian statues would be a good call as the Mountain King falls at level 2. Archmage now by his lonesome self. That cooldown was a big deal as the Knight now down to 127 hit points needs to get away and then accidentally starts running into a Nerubian tower instead. All right, the obsidian statue able to get away at 47 hit points as one or two more attacks from, the Knights. Yumiko leaving behind the 2 Knights that were too far south. And suddenly, a big gift of experience, nearly level 5 on the Death Knight and level 4 on that Lich. Back off to the north, what is Yumiko's plans now? Lost the Mountain King. Paladin had to get Staff of Sanctuary back home and lost 2 additional knights that he could have saved. Is that the tipping point? Or is that going to stop any attempt at Yumiko's comeback in terms of hero level experience, offering up 2 knights already? Death Knight now sitting at level 5. That is a critical level, as many of you guys know. That 600 hit point heal, such a big difference. And we're now looking at the Lich getting a little bit more as well. Claws of Attack plus 12 on the Lich, now adding up to plus 24 attack damage from a fast attacking Lich with that Orb of Corruption debuff. All right. Paladin actually going after this red creep camp by going after this red creep camp with the Mountain King. Gonna go ahead and clear that out there. Meanwhile, we're looking at one low hit point knight got staffed sanctuary back home, only to be absolutely destroyed and devoured there. All right, Scroll of Town Portal inbound. Is the Mountain King going to be able to get there in time? It will, and here we are going into that fight here. All right, seems like ShockeR is trying to test the same waters. These cannons may be able to get in a little bit of damage on the way out. No, they are not. Not enough range on them. That Arcane Tower in that frontline spot feeding back some of that mana. Flying Machines with no upgrades. Knights with no upgrades either. We're looking at more Knights getting trained up. 73 supply compared to 58 as the Expo on the southern side for ShockeR finally being established. Level 5 Death Knight, level 4 Dark Ranger, level 4 Lich, clearing out this Sasquatch Forest High Troll Priest Creep Camp 2. Unholy Aura, nope, not being applied here. Pendant of Energy should be a big deal, perhaps. Is it going on that Death Knight? Yeah, up to 117 mana now. Maybe you should, I don't know, give it to the Dark Ranger for now? I don't know, try to max out the mana on that Death Knight as much as possible. All right. All of the creep camps have now been cleared out. If you're going to fight, you're going to be fighting against each other. And all Yumiko can really hope to do is catch up in terms of hero level. By the time he surpasses his opponent in hero level, he would have already have won, be winning that game. There's a Stormbolt onto the Lich, at least to, Death Coil finishing off the Archmage. Archmage never stood a chance. Level 5 Death Knight, level 4 Lich. Death Coil, Frost Nova, lots of damage as Siege Engine is now rolling on down. Without the Archmage there, that's going to be a big shot there. Stormbolt onto the Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend has anti-magic shell. Archmage getting resurrected back here at the Tavern. Mountain King could be in trouble. Is he going to use a potion as well? Staff of Sanctuary Siege Engine is trying to roll on through. 77 supply compared to 64 as there's multiple low hit point heroes who could just absolutely get cleaned up here. All right, Death Knight, Holy Light trying to save that Archmage before it gets burst down again. Mountain King could be in trouble, and he gets finished off with another Stormbolt. Flying Machine Flying Machine finishes off a Destroyer as the Paladin may be forced to use that Potion of Lesser Invulnerability in order to dodge a Death Coil that would have nearly finished it off. All right, both sides still fighting their way through. More damage getting racked up here. Holy Light onto an Archmage that really didn't need it. Flying Machines pretty much trying to bombard now down all of those other ground units as the Spellbreakers are doing a little bit of a cleanup on the center aisle as well. Paladin, Divine Shield, it should be coming to an end. There's some more Staff of Sanctuary being used by both the Paladin and the Archmage. There's a Scroll of Town Portal on the way out. Is the Archmage going to make it? No, it is not. Archmage falls at level 4 again. All right, Yumiko trying to set up some center towers here. I do not believe they will be sticking around. A ShockeR quickly finding these here, and now going to be going after some other units again. Archmage resurrected once more from the Tavern. Flying Machine nearby. Spellbreakers, some regeneration again. 73 supply compared to 49. And with the Mountain King now needing to get resurrected, well, it's going to be some time before they're ready to join out in on the battle again. Mountain King may pick up a Staff of Sanctuary as well. And, well, already has a Staff of Sanctuary, picking up a Clarity Potion. And now teleporting out there onto the battlefield again. Paladin also here as well. We're looking at Spellbreakers, Knights, Flying Machines, and Yumiko's army, even though the heroes have fallen so many times, is still extremely, extremely dangerous. All right, we do have Banshees out here on the battlefield. Are we getting that mastery training? We are, so Possession could be the counter to the Knights that we saw earlier here. Flying Machines ready here. Paladin maxed out on mana. Archmage, they're just trying to hold this center location. Little bit of a repair field by these peasants to fix these Flying Machines before they go back out into combat. Perhaps trying to speed or build another guard tower here could be helpful in setting up and establishing this center gold mine, as the main gold mines are about to mine out. All right, battle into the center. Anti-magic shell. Both sides going to fight their way through. We see a possession on the knight, and the knight does turn coat there. Paladin gets Staff of Sanctuary back home. Silence onto the Archmage. Both sides are still fighting their way through, trying to go after those Banshees. Stormbolt onto a Banshee. Banshee gets the anti-magic shell a little bit late. Archmage could be in a little bit of trouble as well, as the Paladin was teleported back home. Water Elemental now being dropped. Cannon Tower joining in on the fight there. There's a Stormbolt onto another Banshee here, but the Banshee's not going to be able to do very much. Spellbreakers, well, trying to finish off these Obsidian statues, and this is that focus fire onto Obsidian statues that I was talking about by Spellbreakers, feeding back a little bit of that mana, finishing off some Spellbreakers, or that a Banshee again, as the Cannon Tower is doing some big damage against some of these other ground targets. 56 supply compared to 51. However, it looks as though it's coming to an end. Obsidian statue down to 60 hit points. Is it going to end up falling? One or two more shots. The Cannon Tower could actually finish this off here if there was a little bit of focus fire on that Cannon Tower to take down that Obsidian statue. All right, Town Hall was nearly completed. Instead, going to get canceled. Refund a little bit of gold. We're sitting on one base to one base, with ShockeR having a lot more gold left in the bank, or left in the mine to mine from. Yumiko needs to win this game outright, but no longer has the supply advantage. He has gotten to level 5 on the Archmage, but that Mountain King is still sitting at level 2, sitting at level 2, so his Stormbolts have not been that impactful, so to speak. The Hammer not dealing enough damage, and some of those Banshees were able to retreat back easily. Can you dispel that anti-magic? You can do a little bit of dispelling. The dispel does damage similar to like a summoned unit, but I think anti-magic shell, and that was a recent patch update, right? That you can actually dispel some of that and remove the hit points off of that anti-magic shell. Anyways, let's go ahead and engage here. Flying Machines overhead. Perhaps they're going to start to bombard and take down some of these units. Flying Machines should really be going after the Haunted Gold Mine. Level 3 now on that Mountain King there. Meanwhile, Death Knight shows up to the party. There's a little bit of feedback damage. Anti-magic shell once more. And we're looking at some of the units in the back here. All right, Death Knight could be in trouble. Does have an anti-magic shell and Potion of Invulnerability, so shouldn't end up falling anytime soon here. Meanwhile, Archmage is still holding on tight. Paladin needs to get into the fight here. He doesn't represent a lot of damage, but he does represent, well, a big push here. He's going to go ahead and try and Holy Light some more. Staff of Sanctuary, getting the Mountain King out of that sticky situation as we're still fighting our way through. Crypt Fiend gets taken down. Spellbreaker gets taken down. Both sides exchanging blows here. There's another Holy Light again. Paladin could be in a little bit of trouble. Staff of Sanctuary, and they're still trying to push on again. 57 supply compared to 40. ShockeR with the big supply lead here as, well, Water Elemental's turning into puddles. Archmage now being forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal to try and back out. There's the death of a Crypt Fiend, teleporting all the way back home. Yumiko's army now standing at only 27 supply compared to 44, as the gold mine off to the north is going to be running out in 2 minutes. Meanwhile, ShockeR has haunted the gold mine in the center portion of the map, denying any long-distance mining by Yumiko, as Yumiko now tries to retreat back here. Death Knight with level 3 Unholy Aura gonna have this army move around much more quickly. Acolytes looking to fully saturate that gold mine here soon. Meanwhile, level 5 Archmage, level 4 Paladin, level 3 Mountain King needing to deal with a level 6 Death Knight, level 5 Lich, and level 5 Dark Ranger. Stormbolt finishing off one, stunning one. Holy Light finishing off another, as both sides are going to try to fight here. No Devour magic. Water Elementals, however, are just getting taken down there. There goes a Death Coil Frost Nova onto the Archmage. Archmage Staff of Sanctuary gets teleported back out of that situation quickly, as the Mountain King now needs to try and retreat back. All right, there goes another quick kill there, as the Mountain King falls at level 3. ShockeR, I guess by putting the Nerubian Tower here, put the threat of an Expo down early, but never really decided to establish it. Instead, it was the pacing, being able to run around the map quickly, hitting multiple creep camps, and getting his Death Knight, Lich, and Dark Ranger higher up in level. Once he got that higher up in level, he was able to consistently exchange efficiently, even though Yumiko was the one with the larger army. Death Coil at level 3, a major big deal, and Yumiko losing 2 knights due to, not realizing how far those knights had run away from that Archmage in that early battle at the 6 o'clock Expo location, may have been the catalyst that ShockeR needed to really get his strategy going. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. I wouldn't say Undead is too strong. Yumiko made a major mistake during the middle portion of that game. If you guys didn't see that part, definitely rewind back on YouTube as I upload it. Here are the final scores.